forgive me, I'm going to sit down because I need. Good morning, my name is C.H.A.P, and it's a high honor to be here for the last few years. So I'm here to share my life, my young life, when I was in China, and this is double luck. So I was born in the center of China, a little village, family was 5, so I'm the youngest one in the family. So before I was born, we have a civil war with ourselves, and we also have a war with Japanese. So the country was a disaster. Mother was hoping this new child would be in the family new lucky. So she named me C.H.A.P, means a new beginning. So at the age of 3, I lost my parents. Age 5, I was sold to communist village chief for 2 sacks of rice. So after being sold, just 3 or 4 months earlier, the chief got married for the very first time. His new wife brought him a son from previous marriage. The son was 20 years of age. So the chief thought 2 good things happen all at once in his marriage. He decided to rename me to Double Luck. That's why I choose Double Luck as my book title. I was sold to them, but for a year. So then, in the beginning times, they really desperately want to train me to be their son. But the father really, he does not know how to be a decent father. For example, the story starts like this. So after I came to their life, just shortly after, so there was a Chinese holiday. There was holiday traditionally in China. We always make some cakes. The cakes made with sweet rice and small, like a muffin size. So then my communist mother made quite a few of them and asked me to bring to the living room to show the respect to the Buddha. So then I was a boy, this tall, and so I took over the cakes from the mother and carefully put it on the bench. Then I put it in front of the Buddha's picture. Then I look at around, my communist mother was not there, so I took 2 or 3 in the pocket. So when I go to the kitchen, I can join them. So I did this probably more than twice, and I don't remember exactly how many I ate. So later on, the mother asked me, says, "Well, how many did you eat?" And so I just tell me, "Well, I ate a few." So I don't remember. And she said, "Well, I'm not happy. I'm going to just tell your father, let him deal with you." The father returned home and asked me the same question, and he was not pleased. So he decided to give me some kind of punishment. And at that time, I had this ponytail. So what he did, he pulled my ponytail, hang me on the ceiling. I was about this far, about 5 feet from the ground. And so I screamed, got nowhere, and finally he put me down. I thought it's over, but it's not over. He upside down, he put my legs towards the ceiling, head towards down. And this for a little while, I almost lost my breath. So finally the neighbor walked in, and they saw the situation. They said, "Put the child down, because after all, he's 5, 6 years old. He's a young boy. How much he can be done to deserve this kind of punishment?" So they were ashamed to put me down. So finally summer's over, and they had a lot of dry straw. In those days in China, many years ago, so we didn't have, especially in the countryside, we do not have charcoal, we don't have electricity, we didn't have a gas. So all we had is we used a dry straw, wood, used as a cooking utensil. And so after the summer's over, they had a lot of dry straw. So they want to ship to another village, exchange fresh eggs, and cooking oil, and sewing related items. So I was lucky enough to went along with them. So from point A to point B, probably take a half day. So after we got there, so my communist parents took off, and I was there alone. So the boat was probably, I can give you a little idea, probably like 20 feet wide, 35 feet long. Then the front parts are all dry straw. The back parts are all dry straw. The center is for people to sit. So they took off, and this little over 6 years old boy was alone. There's no food, no nothing. And I wait, it's nothing happened. So the evening came along, got pretty scared because it's a wide open. In those days, there's no house like today you have a house. In those days, you walk a mile, quarter of a mile, you just simply don't see houses. And so all was there is a cemetery, a little canal, and the open land. It's all open. And so in the evening times, I got very, very scared. And so scared, fell asleep. So next morning, I saw a person from a long distance, and I didn't know who is that person. So I ran into that person. There was a woman who was selling sewing items, and so I started telling her my unfortunate experience with my communist parents. And this woman says, "My child, why don't you just save your breath? Because in China, we all face difficulty. You're not alone. So just save your breath and don't talk no more." I thought she was the only hope that I had. So I continued talk while we were so shortly later there was a house. So she knocked the door. Older man opened the door, and first thing he asked me is, "Well, my child, where are you from?" I said, "Well, I'm from Maojiawei. What's your parents' name?" So I give it to him. Then he says, "Are you hungry?" Well, by then I have not eaten for several days, and the older man was kind enough to pull out a few pancakes from the jar. Sounds very strange because I have to give it the background. Because in China, it's not like you go to the pancake house, you get a pancake, you put a lot of butter and syrup in, very moist. In China, it's not like this. We made cakes by whole wheat. So after we made them, we'll put it under the sun. We let the pancake became very dry. Then we put it into the jar. So anytime you want something fast, you just take them out, you slice them, put it in the cold water until the water is boiled. It's ready to serve. There's no such lack of butter and syrup. I was very happy to have that. So after I ate it, and the woman said, "Well, my child, I have a duty to do to finish it, so you're on your own." So I tried to find my way back. So I was lost. All I saw, 20 feet away, there was a child, a boy, even younger than I was, with no clothes on. The only thing was on was an apron cover his front part. But at that period of time in China, the countryside, it's perfect normal. There's a lot of boys does that. So there's no words exchange, and so I walk quite a distance, and then I make a turn. Then I realized the boat was on the left-hand side, so I walked towards the boat. When I was on the boat, I looked back again. The little child is no longer there. So another day went by. The second day, I saw another person, and so I didn't know. Like I say, it's too open, wide space. So I have no way to find out who is that person. So I ran into that person. Came to find out that was my favorite uncle, who's an educator, taught school, and so I said to him as an uncle, I could no longer stand it to stay with the communist parents. Did nothing but abuse. I mean, so my favorite uncle says, "Well, I so much I wanted to be helpful to you, but I couldn't because the chief has so much power over me. If I take you back, then I will face a lot of difficulty and trouble." I said, "Well, if that's the case, can you send this message immediately to my sister? Because my sister is like a mother to me because I never had parents. And my sister is 20 years older than I am. And my favorite uncle said, "Well, I will try." So on the fourth day, there was a sunny afternoon. I saw the person without doubt. I knew right away that is my sister. So I ran into her. It was very emotional, and I told her everything that I had experienced. And while we show our emotions to each other, then the communist parents returned. The communist mother couldn't stand it because my sister and I were so warm to each other. So the communist mother reached her hand, squeezed my heart, says, "Well, you're an ungrateful child. We raised you, then you is so ungrateful." So then, so my sister spoke up. That is, my little brother. You didn't treat him as your own, as a son. You treat him like a slave, a peon. And so don't think you have the power. I have no place to turn. I can turn you into a higher level, to like I said, then Chief says, well, let's be peaceful. What about if I give another sack of rice? Let's call it even. You know? Well, in those days, a sack of rice means like I said, sack of gold is very, very precious because a lot of times in the countryside, the rice just doesn't come along too easy. So we try to make the rice fodder. So what we did, we instead of using 1 pound of rice to make a steamed rice, we used a half pound of rice with a lot of sweet potatoes, maybe baby bok choy, some kind of vegetable, chopped together to make a rice, make a fodder. You can make a family, more people to eat. Yes. And so a sack of rice was very precious. So I bring the sack of rice to my favorite uncle's family. Favorite uncle is an educator, and he's like a father to me. But his wife is another story because the lunchtime, his wife would send me away. My aunt would send me away, ask me to get tender grass to feed the cow. So by the time I get back, my aunt would feed me pig's food. So in the countryside, we use the undeveloped sweet potatoes. We ground them and we make the whole wheat shell and mix with water. That's all we feed pigs, and that's why I eat it. It's clean. It's eatable. But I told quite a few times. I told my aunt, I said, "Can you give me some human food, like the food you would eat?" And she was not happy. She said, "You're a very ungrateful little boy. Yeah, we don't even abuse you. We have a room for you to stay. And you're just never happy." On and on. So then shortly after that, my sister came along to visit from the city. So I repeated all the things that I learned from my aunt. So my sister says, "Well, this is the only chance you had. You don't make a wave. Of course, you don't have enough food, but this is just temporary. This will make it strong, make it grow strong." Well, I sort of understand, but not really, because after all, I was just a little boy. So this went on for a little while. My sister found me another home to go, probably like a half mile away from my favorite uncle's house. There was a grandmother. She was a high age in that time. She had sense. She took me in. She said, "From today on, I will be your grandmother. My number 1 son, I'll be your father. My number 2 son will be your uncle." So under the condition for quite some while, at that point in time, I was already over 6 years of age. And the first time ever, I received a lot of warmth, a lot of love from this family. But unfortunately, it didn't last very long. Summer come along, I burned down the hut because I was too young to take a huge responsibility. I was boiled the water to make tea to deliver to the farmland that I burned down. And it just happened my sister was in there to visit, and so grandmother was from the distance, saw the fire. The grandmother was kind, and she says, "Well, my child, whatever it is, it's not your fault. We don't want you to go away and get scared or anything, and don't go away. We still care for you." Because the Chinese don't use love too often, because love is a very serious word. We use it as we care. It means there's a lot more, just the care. Then just happened, my sister was there. My sister was so worried. So because I burned down the hut, so I may get abused. So my sister was emotion. He said, "Go other direction." So I followed my sister's emotion. So I disconnected with grandmother. So temporarily, my sister put me in her neighbor's home because she can't take me home because she would love me very, very much, because her husband not like that. Because every time her husband sees me, and he's irritated because I was a boy, but I was not his boy, and so he would treat me a rough time. So my sister tried to avoid that kind of situation, temporarily put me in the neighbor's house. So whenever she could, she would deliver food. If my brother-in-law's at home, I made 1 day without food. So this condition was for quite a while. Then finally my sister saved enough rice, give it to this man in the village who owns a boat. So it would take me from my village to a big city, Shanghai. And but my sister did not have additional money, rice, to buy me a pair of boy shoes or boy clothing. So when she went to the village, she collected a pair bonding shoes, women's shoes. Even I was 6 years of age, but my feet was larger than the bonding shoes. You can imagine the experience that I went through the women's shoes. So it took almost 10 days, quite a few days, almost 10 days from my village to big city, Shanghai. And so from the crowd, I saw my brother, so I shouting out, brother, brother. But brother refused to recognize me, to see me, because I was, because he was ashamed the way I look, like a little old lady. Then he basically shied away until much later. All the people left, then he returned. He put his son's clothing on me. And living in Shanghai, the big city, 1 year, 1949, I was 7 years old. At that point in time, my brothers already left Shanghai, so we did not know where he went. So then my sister-in-law was working for a rich people's house as a housemaid. On her day off, she came home. She took me and her son to the side, and she says, well, this is something you children need to know. We're going to take a train from Shanghai to somewhere, but somewhere you do not need to know where we're going, but all you need to know, when you're on the train, there's a lot of Red Army, and so make sure you do not have eye contact, make sure you don't talk to them and everything else. Well, I was 7 years old, then I was wondering why I couldn't talk to them, because as you know, in China we have so many different dialects. If you speak, they recognize immediately what part of China you came from. Then it could be dangerous. But because I was a child, I didn't understand that. So then it took almost half day from Shanghai to Canton, or even longer. So we arrived to Canton. We stayed this 4-story hotel waiting for connection. So 2 weeks later, there was a human smuggler. Today you call them coyotes. They came to the hotel. So in the connection, they paid them half down payment, the other half until we save or pay them. So after we connected, so we waited another few days until the situation is calm. So we took another train from Canton to a small village. Small village is only about 500 population, and in the center of the village there's a hotel, 2-story high. In northern the village is a theater. They only show one movie a night. So we stayed in a 2-story hotel for several days. There was 16 of us, 14 adults and 2 young children. That 2 young children is my nephew and I. My nephew was 1 year younger than I am. So we're like a typical children. So during the daytime, so we would go to the hotel roof play. So we looked down the ground level on the street. We saw a lot of innocent men was being handcuffed. Well, handcuffed, it doesn't have a good reason, because in those days there's no concrete law. They just even if you don't speak the same dialect, if you're supposed to live in Taipei, why you come to Las Osos, that could be a reason handcuff you. So after we saw that, we nephew and I came down from the roof to the lobby and sent information to our leaders and tell them not to go out, because if they go out, they can be handcuffed. So a day or two later, the coyote husband and wife took nephew and I to the side. Said, well, I want your children to look at me, very concentrated, be careful, carefully look at me, and I want to talk to you. That is, normally when we escape, we simply do not include someone your age. You're way too young, it could be a threat to us. We're going to make an exception. We're going to include you, but you're going to behave like a young adult. Well, from that moment on, I was no longer 7 years old. I was 17 years old. I think anybody in that situation, you were the same thing. So then the same night, and we went to a theater to watch a movie. Well, we don't really watch a movie because the movie, the front door faces the street, the back door faces the farmland, so we can escape. So, and we were pre-programmed. There is halfway through a movie, like 3 or 4 get up very quietly, meet the back door. So we did. So after we all meet in the back door, and it was a pitch dark. We can even see 5 fingers because the coyote did a little research, noted something. So anyway, my right hand side and left hand side is all grown water chest. Well, when you go to Chinese restaurant, you eat you order chop suey or vegetable. There's always a water chestnut, but water chestnut grow in the mud, so you do have to walk very carefully because otherwise you can fill in the things. Those people they're running for their life. They're not going to be so kind to save you. So so we walk in the pinch dark for a long time. So finally we arrive to iron fence. So the fence is divided two countries. So this side of the fence is Communist China. The other side of the fence is English. So then so the coyote use a wire, something strong, cut the fence large enough, pour one person at a time from this side of the fence to the other side of the fence. So after we all went to the other side of the fence, the coyote husband decided to light a match to smoke. Well, because of the lighting attracted the guard dog. So dogs are barking, and the next one is a spotlight, next one is a machine gun. Yeah. Fortunately, we all got scared very badly, but no one get hurt or no one get killed. So after the machine gun totally stopped it, we continued to walk. A short while later, there was a canal, there was a river. So no one knew how to swim. And so the coyote husband and wife carried one at a time we crossed the river. So after we crossed the river, even there was winter time, even we were several layers clothes. That didn't help a bit. We were cold, hungry, shaking, and all that. And so I thought to myself, I said, well, I'm only 7 years old. I don't want to die just yet. I want to still living. You know, that was the only thing on my mind. So then we walked a little while. There was a noise came from somewhere. I didn't hear. And but the coyote, they're alert everything because that's their profession. So then there was because the machine gun sent to English side, so English security people started checking on us, and so the coyote husband and wife made a quick decision. They divided this group in two, so A this way, A that way, to go to different direction. So their thought is this: in case one small group unfortunately got caught, the other one can continue to their freedom. So I was mixed with strangers. My sister-in-law and nephew to another group. So the short while later, we arrived this small room. This small room, probably 20% the size of this room, if that, and it's just a dirt floor, the ground. Then we were sitting there, and we were so cold and like this, and we were waiting. We hope the other group would peacefully, no trouble, would join us. So they did. So then after they joined us, then the coyote look around the room, make sure that if they can find some dry food, can temporarily feed us. But the only thing they can find today is, I use this bottle as an example. This bottle is a 16.9 ounces of water. They find about half size with this container rice, uncooked rice. They put it into the huge wok, put a lot of water, did not even wait until the water totally boiled, and just dish out to a container. So each one fills up, pass on to the next person. There wasn't much of a food, by all means, just basically warm our body temperature. So so then finally the daylights are getting lighter, so we got on the bus. So the bus took us to a seaport. So we took a water taxi to this little island. This island receives refugees from all parts of China. And if anyone got there earlier, they all have a meal ticket. The meal tickets are according to how many people in your family. They give you so much rice, so much vegetables. And unfortunately, we didn't have the privilege because we were 1 year too late. But we do have a place roof to sleep. The bed is like I use this stage as an example. This from the beginning to the very end, and even farther, and but not this wide, but less than half wide, is bedding. So you know, our family as a unit. My brother, sister-in-law, nephew, and I. We have one section. The next person could be single person, be a couple. You know, there's no privacy. By all means, you're lucky to have that. And so I didn't have a meal ticket. So what I did, I used the dry 5-pound milk powder can. I make like a little bucket. So my left hand carrying this little bucket. My right hand is free. I was about this tall. I walked down to the hill, about quarter miles to the cafeteria. Well, cafeteria is about hundreds of people waiting for their turn for food. You know, I simply passed every single one of them. I was landing. I would arrive at this little window. This window is about 3 feet. I just roughly guess 3 feet deep, by 7 feet long. And so I there. So because I can see the restaurant, but because of my height, I cannot see everything. And so when they dish out the rice and vegetable, they always make a little mess. And so that became my opportunity. But then many years later, I look back and no, they don't have to make a mess. They created the opportunity because I was a little boy. They feel sorry for me. You know? And so then I would put this rice and vegetable in this little container, take home, feed my brother and sister or nephew, and oftentimes I have a little bit too much, so I would take the rice to a dining hall cafeteria and sell it to someone else for 3 precious Hong Kong nickels. I can buy 3 slices pre-cooked roast pork. And so this older man who sleep next to me says, my child, can you not sell for 3 nickels? And you share this with me. Someday I'll pay you back. I have 2 sons. They're all very, very, very successful. One son is working in Taiwan government, a high-level job. My another son, he's in America. So I told this older man, so from today on, I'm not going to sell the rice. I share with you. You're going to be my friend. So he instantly become my very good friend. He taught me how to be strong, how to dream, how to give up hope. And he keep telling me, well, this is temporary. So because of this, it will make you a stronger person. I did not know exactly what he's saying, but I do. So then a short while later, my brother thought there's no future there. We need to move on to a big island. So we did. We moved to Hong Kong. And by then, I was about 8 years old and older. So I was, the only thing I knew how is I bake on the street, bake for rice. And people kind of, they give me the rice. But a lot of times I ate the rice, my stomach cramped for hours, sometimes even overnight. Because in those days, people have family at home does not have a refrigeration. You really don't know the full how long been sitting there. So then quickly I learned not to bake for rice. I'll go to the street and I tell a brief story. Hope those people will feel sorry for me or give me nickel or dime. But most of the people are nice and kind. There's always a few not so kind, and some even very cool, and they push me away. Well, as a young boy, I didn't understand that. My thought is, well, everything I said to them is all true. It's all I experienced. Why those people so unkind to me? I would go to the street corner and cry for hours. But crying is not a solution. I still need to feed my stomach and my family. So I went back to the street and begged for more. And if they didn't look at me, I would change the dialect. At the time, I spoke 3 different dialects. Now I spoke fluently, and it's just like a local. I spoke Cantonese, Mandarin, and Shanghainese, because each dialect is like a foreign language. And I spoke. So if one dialect people didn't look at me, I switch another one. I make sure they look at me, and then I know they understood what I'm trying to tell them. So they would give me nickel dime. So this went on for 4 years. At the age 12, my favorite aunt who married someone rather important in Taiwan, through their sponsor, so we went to Taiwan. So my brother was preparing me for the 2nd grade class. And after he taught me 2 or 3 times, he was very impatient. So he would pick up whatever he can. He would say, "You're so stupid. I already told you 3 or 4 times. You still don't get it." And so finally I was accepted the 2nd grade. So 4 months later, before we move on, 3rd grade. And so we have some kind of exam. And the next day I saw my writing was posted in the blackboard. And 63 students out of 2 was picked. I was one of the 2 picked up. Then I said to myself, I look at my writing, I said, well, brother says I'm stupid. After all, I am not stupid at all. And but children can be very cool because and I was 12 years old. almost 13 years old, I should be 7th or 8th grade, not the 2nd grade. So going home, I would be physically get abused by my own brother. I said to myself, I can no longer take this abuse. I said, I'm old enough to be my own. So what I did, I went to the shoe factory, learn how to make women's high heel shoes. There almost a year. So then later on, I would get a construction company as an iron boy to do the artwork. So by then I pick up another dialect that is Taiwanese, because all the workers, they're twice my age, they always spoke the dialect. So I, as a young boy, I can communicate with anybody, so I can speak the dialect, and so I was their favorite little brother. But unfortunately, I got fired, not because I was trying to be smart or anything, because I was outspoken, because I saw a statement on my boss's desk. Because the broom, when I go to hardware store, I pay $1.50 NT, or equal to like 8 cents US dollars. But my boss paid $4. I said, well, next time let me go buy it. You pay too expensive. I get fired. So I didn't understand why I get fired until I was much older. Then I realized because of that. So one door's closed, another door's open, and a friend of mine who worked at American Officers Club in Taipei, Taiwan. Taipei is the capital of Taiwan, and so at that time we have an Air Force base in Taiwan, PX. We have a NCO club, Airman club, and the Officers Club. So I work at Officers Club as a young busboy, and the club is very good. It's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and to me, there's a lot longer. It's a workplace. It's almost like school. It's so much to learn, and for example, simple things. The parents brought their children over the club for lunch, so the son would pick up the whole hamburger, start eating. The father would say, "John, that's not how you eat your hamburger." So once you cut the hamburger in 4 slices, you eat 1 slice at a time. It looks much more civilized, and that when the daughter spoke to the mother and still chewing her food and looked somewhere else, the mother would say, "Lucy, that's not how you talk to your mother. Number one, you need to finish your chewing. The most important thing is you need to look at your mother's eyes and to show your respect, even strangers." Well, this 13-year-old boy, uneducated, he was very much hope if they were his parents and say the same thing to him, taught him the right way to education, warmth, food, and everything. But unfortunately, I was just wishful thinking. Nothing happened. So then, I started telling myself, I said, well, I need to get out of this situation. I'm going to get a better life. So 13 years later, at the age of 26, my dream became a reality. So a plane was landing in Honolulu. Went to immigration. Before went to immigration, I said to myself, I'm halfway success. I came all the way to America already. I'm not return. Until I look at my passport, and I realized they only give me 38 days to stay. I didn't want the 38 days expire, then I become illegal. I didn't want that. So I tried to find a way to extend it. So there was a lot of trauma I went through, but I went through it. So after then I extended, the only place, someone says, well, you go to adult school, learn English, they will give you a visa, you know. I went there for a long time, but I said, well, I need a job, you know, I need to self-sufficient, you know. Here at school, for many hours, just you learn something, but you still got nothing, you know. So then whenever my student friend said, well, there's a private college, you know, you can go there, you pay $90 a month, so then you may get a student visa. I said, well, they require a high school diploma. I didn't have it. And then I'm basically a self-taught person. I said, well, I'm not going to tell them I didn't have a high school diploma, but I can tell them I do have a passport. I'm legally came to this country. Yeah. And so I'm not going to say anything. I should present a passport only without a high school diploma. See what happened. Yeah. So 2 days later, I went to the school office. I opened my passport. there was a 4 years student visa. Talk about honesty, it does pay it off. So then I can breathe. So I did. So then a friend of mine, then I knew a long time ago in Taiwan. He was in Denver, Colorado. He says, "Would you like to come to Colorado? My boss is very successful. Can help you to get a green card." Well, green card is the most important thing to me. I don't care the money. I want it legal and to be able to make a life in America. Yeah. So then, so I went to Denver, and so within 10 months, I got an interview, and within a year, I got my green card. So we have like 13 people apply at the same time. I was the only one got it. The rest didn't get it. Well, then those people become very bitter, start rumors that I was a golden boy, and on all this bitter comments. So then, come to find out that they're all illegal shit, because I had a legal student visa. That's why I passed very quickly. Within 10 and a half, 11 months, I got my green card. So then I worked 11, 12 years, and so I was in my late 30s. I was working in a 5-star restaurant as a bartender, and so then oftentimes, and the immigration officer would come and take a lunch break or afternoon tea break. They would ask a cup of coffee or ginger ale. I serve them. I'll walk away because I don't want to contact it because they will ask you all kinds of questions that I don't know how to say back. Then I'm in trouble. Yeah. So that's before I got my green card. But after green card, that's a different story. And in those days, are much lighter than today. And then I work in, so then I started working, and so 10, 12, 13 years later, so I was in my late 30s. In the Chinese culture, there is a man, before you reach 40 years of age, you should be 60. If you didn't, so your second chances are very slim, very slim. So I always remember that, and even I was working in a 5-star restaurant as a bartender, but that's not enough. Even I didn't have an education, but I have a potential to be better, so I can just stretch myself a little bit, force myself a little bit, things I think I can do it. So I started looking for business opportunities. I found out there's one fast food place in Los Angeles airport. So I didn't have the experience, so I made a deal with the seller. I said when we open high school, close high school, that 45 days, I'll work for you for free, because I envisioned the 45 days later, this restaurant will be mine. So it's okay. And well, for them it's okay too, because 45 days I work for free. They don't have to put me on the payroll. I work twice harder than they are, because I can see, I can envision this is my future. So 45 days later, I took over. And within 1 year, year and a half, I made some money. So what I didn't put it in the bank. I upgraded the place. I had a new menu, new refrigerator, new ice machine, new warm food court. It looked very presentable. I simplified the menu because the menu was too complicated. It's a small combo, medium combo, large combo. None of those. I said one combo, because people, they take a lunch break only about 45 minutes the most. So you don't give them too much choice, then take too much time. So you just give them one choice, that because you have a lot of other things. Then drinks, instead of small, medium, large, I just pick up one size, so $3.99 including tax. That's how many years ago? This is about 33 years ago, and so within 3 years, I paid off the loan, and I bought a house in a very fancy place, $360,000 at that time. I'm not telling you I'm just trying to show off. I'm telling you just it's a story. If you're working hard, you can achieve all that. So then, so I bought a house, $360,000, gated community, and so I worked 7.5 years later. I was simply mentally, physically tired, dead tired. So I came as a young man. At age 26, my waist was 28. So 20 years later, so my waist went back to 28. because not because I didn't eat enough, it's just because I was too busy. Because I care. Because I didn't have enough education, I wouldn't do well and do better. Because I can't do a sloppy job, and so like this. So that's why +3, and so that's really. So anyway, so 1990 in June, I sold them all, and so I had a good size of a chunk of money. So I didn't wish put the money in a bank, because the bank would not serve me a justice. So I decided to use the money to reinvest in real estate. So I couldn't find anything. I really wanted like an office building or apartment, like 10, 12 units. So I couldn't find it because I was rushed. Well, it just happened the coffee pot restaurant was on the market. And I said, then I look around. There was a weekend, and even then there was people wait outside to get in. I said, well, this is another, the restaurant where they go to legs. And I did the same thing. I bought it, and I told the seller, I said, I'll work for you for 45 days free, but you need to teach me all the things I need to know. Because in the outside, like a bus table, wait on a table, clean the table, cashier, manager, people, I knew all that because I have many years of bartending background, so I move very, very fast. I didn't have the experience in the kitchen, so I concentrated in the kitchen, how to do wash correctly. I even pay attention, take how much chemical to do each roll of wash. Then because I remember that one summer before I even took over, the chemical guy came in, adjusted the wash machine, and I said, well, what for you adjusting it? And I thought I saw him do something very sneaky, because usually I take about 7 to 8 drop to wash one dish. So he adjusted like 11, 12, because sometimes he will use more chemical, he can sell you more. And so that's just small things. What you buy and what not to buy, and and recipe, because you buy the wrong items, you can sit there, tie down your inventory, all that. So then 45 days later, I took over the business. I was fighting because I didn't have the confidence. This continued on like a year and a half, 2 years. So 2 years later, I was comfortable. Because I have a lot of confidence, because I knew, I understand my job and everything else. So I made a few changes, not major changes, slow changes for the better. So now, right now it's my 25th year in this restaurant in Mall Bay. It's pretty busy all year round. Because, so in America, if you're working hard, you respect yourself, respect others with good attitude, you can succeed. Anybody can succeed. And education will help. Education with a good, happy, positive attitude, even make you succeed faster. And so America is a melting pot, and we all came from somewhere for better life. So I'm not exceptional. I'm one. So I'm very proud to be an American citizen, and I'm also proud all these years I contribute to society. I didn't take things away from society. For example, I own a restaurant for all these years. My employee worked for me always between 4 to 6 for the last 30 years. So life is good in America. So my book published about 13 years ago. The last 13 years, I sold over 30,000 copies in my restaurant. The money came from the books is all donated, and so I give $25,000 to Mobile Library because I'm in the city, and the city made me successful. I feel like strongly give some back to the city, and I should, so I did. So I'm going to continue sell a lot more books, do nothing but give the needy places, and I'm very thankful in here, and I'm very thankful I own a very successful business. I'm very thankful. I'm very healthy. I'm very thankful. I have a lot of friends, and life is good. Life is very good. And thank you very much.
Questions?
Yes.
May I get the name of your restaurant?
My restaurant called the Coffee Pot Restaurant next to Fish Market in the waterfront. Yes.
How were you able to maintain a positive mentality throughout all the pain and suffering you endured?
Well, as a young child, very young, is unwanted. Even your family doesn't want you, you know. And so then strangers that doesn't know you, and you just suffer. A lot of pain and everything. So then I said to myself, so that actually make me strong, make me positive, because only positive you can get somewhere. If you just use that as my past, I use that as a reason I will never make it. So I said to myself, I said I don't have anybody to rely on myself. I said I need to make that work. So it came naturally. It's not you force yourself. It's not going to happen. It's just me. Yes.
You're blessed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes.
On your book, you said you went to go visit your sister.
Yes.
Besides your sister, did you ever went to go see grandma again?
After I burned down the hut, I'm totally disconnected with grandma. I did see my sister in 1986. I was in my mid-40s, and I went back to see my sister since I was a boy, and many years later. Yeah. So because at that time I owned 3 businesses, so it wasn't easy to spend too much time in Shanghai. So we spoke and we talked about the past, but a lot of things that my sister does not remember. Not because she's 20 years older than I am, because of her lifestyle, because she was put in the communist China put the people away.
Concentration camp?
Yeah, concentration camp for there, and her husband put another one. So they have my sister have a good report from her superior. She'd be able to reunion with her husband, and this more than once. So so it's her brainwashed, and so you might as well almost like a brain dead, and because so it's very sad. And the spaces she living in, you have no idea. I visited the place, like a small, very, very small, like a ghetto, and a small row, and both sides of small houses. The house like a boxes. It's probably less than 300 square feet. In America, one master bedroom sometimes bigger than 300 square feet. So the bottom part is one table, set 4 people. Then still we go upstairs. Upstairs, probably maybe 125 square feet. There was a curtain divided 2 families. My sister and her husband on this side, the other husband and wife on the other side. If their children happen to visit, so then let's say the daughter had to sleep, share with the parents. So the daughter, the feet, the leg had to put them out of the stomach because there's no space, like that. So when I left China at the airport, I cried, and I didn't care. There was a person sitting next to me that was a Caucasian. I was not out of control. I was just feeling for my sister. We're all from the same parents, and I have such a good life, and she's had such a poor life. So then I keep telling me, he says, well, I want to go back to visit her again, to give her some money and change her lifestyle. I did, and so then the Chinese government even gave her a car. She can shop a friendship department store. A friendship department store only designed for the American tourists, because my sister had an outside connection, so that's why the companies gave her that privilege. But my sister was so scared, never used that privilege, and then I kept telling myself, I said, well, I need to go back and change her life. To go back, that never happened. She's long gone. I'm sorry.
Did you ever confronted your brother for stealing your money and buying nephew a house?
Yeah, I spoke up, and though I was only about 17 years old, and I spoke up, and I was not angry about it. Just spoke up very loud, and so then he didn't know how to answer me, and so then time went by, years went by. I just forgive. I said, well, that's just money, and so that's him. It's not me. I move on. So I did. Yeah. Yes. I'll be back. Okay, go ahead.
Did you ever get to visit your uncle, the teacher? Favorite uncle?
Yeah, the uncle, my favorite uncle, my brother's baby brother. No, I didn't. I got disconnected with grandmother at the same time I disconnected with my uncle, because they live in the same area. Because they was still living in another village. I moved on to different areas, different city. And plus I was a boy, I did not know, I wasn't even think that far to connect it until I was much older than too late. I was in apart, two different countries. Go ahead, try it.
Did you ever see your brother again?
I did, I saw him several times, and so then of course the pain he caused, and but I forgive him, as is, after all, he's still my brother. He did all those things, but not me. So I said move on, but unfortunately, he's long gone a few years ago, and so that's life. Yeah. Yes.
Did any of your other family, like your siblings or like your nephew or nieces, did they ever move to America, or are you the only one in your family?
I'm the only one. Then later on, but 20 years ago, my nephew, who we escaped together, so he came to visit for like 2 or 3 weeks. Then he went home. Several years later, his son, my grandnephew came to America about 10, 11 years ago. I helped him to get a green card. I helped him to get a citizenship. Now he's selling real estate in Palm Springs. So it's successful story. Yes.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, did you ever marry and have children?
I have 2 sons, and so they're all in their 40s. They're all married. I have 3 grandchildren, 2 grandsons, and 1 granddaughter. And the oldest is 13 years old. The second one is 11 years old. Is a girl. And then the youngest one, little Edward Eddie, he's just turned 6. Yeah. And my youngest son, who owns a Chinese restaurant in Mobile, I'm a mile away. I own an American restaurant. My son owns a Chinese restaurant. Yes.
How did your childhood affect you now?
That's that made who I am, and so I didn't like it or dislike it, but it's unfortunate I'm one of the individuals in that situation, and so I just learned how to deal with them, and so I'm happy how that turned out. Yes. Yes.
What inspired you to write the book?
Well, there was a pain, like every time I talk right now, it's like a release my pain, and so it's like a healing. So it's a very healthy. So that's why I wrote this book. Let it come out. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, just like how everything happens for a reason, and this way you're blessed today, just to be able to express your story and to inspire other people. But I just want to thank you for your book and everything.
All right. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
No other questions?
Yes.
What happened to your girlfriend when you were in the military?
Oh yeah, I was I was young and naive and stupid, So I was nicknamed her grapefruit because her face was naive, and look like the fruit, the grapefruit, the skin of grapefruit, and but anyway, so we later on she married someone. She married a health inspector in Florida, and then I hear from her like 25 years ago, and later on I have not heard from her. Yes.
Do you plan on visiting your home, your village again?
Yes, I'm hoping, because I'm going to be 72 in December, So I want to, while I'm still strong, capable, so I want to, that's my dream. Yes, I want to make that happen within next year, soon, yeah, next year, yeah. Yes.
What do you think you would have done if you would not have the opportunity to come to America?
I'll be equally successful because what happened, before I came to America, I already owned 2 houses at the age of 26. So, excuse me. So one house rented to American officer for $115. Okay, in those days the exchange rate is $1 to $40 in NT. So which means $115 it's over almost $5,000. And $5,000 in 47 years ago was a lot of money. And so then the second house we rented to a GI for $85. You know, and so together is $200. So I was even I was a young man, I was a businessman, and so I know how to think, and so even my very limited education, but I know how to make life better. Yeah. Yes.
Did you ever reconnect with the man from the island who you shared your rice with?
Yes, I did. When I was 12, 13 years old, I was in Taiwan, and I saw him, and I was very warm because I saw like a lost family, and he was very cold and distant, and more than once. And so I didn't understand until much later, and after I became an adult, I look back and I said, well, maybe he's ashamed about his past. He doesn't want me to remind him, and that's the only translation I can tell you. And that was very sad because I was considered he's a best friend, and he's a family member and everything. But now how it turned out, Yes.
Have you ever thought about writing a second book?
Yes.
About telling
It's happening.
Okay.
And so it's halfway done already. It came to America. This book will be a very positive message to just tell you a person come a long way this low, no education, self-taught, can be from the very bottom. Well, you have to be from the very bottom. You can't be from anywhere else. Bottom, you have a very strong foundation. You can go like this. So yes, it's coming. And
Okay.
so hopefully another year and a half. Yes.
We kind of have to knock it off. If you want to talk with him up here, come on up. But we have a class coming in before too long, so come on and talk to him if you like. I think he's got some books to sell.
Thank you.